Nothing comes from nothing. Something has always been. So it must be quite a something. Seven Santas. Santa. Seven clauses. Clause is a part of a sentence. So these 7 clauses make up 3 sentences. If nothing comes from nothing, then something's always been. If one means something now, it was everything back then. If these 2 are true, then everything comes from a self-existent thing.
Can you make the change?
President Trump testing limits. His chief of staff, Mick Mulvaney, admitting a quid pro quo with Ukraine.
We do that all the time with foreign policy. I have news for everybody. Get over it.
Welcome to Sunday. It's Meet the Press.
From NBC News in Washington, the longest running show in television history. This is Meet the Press with Chuck Todd.
Good Sunday morning. This week we saw President Trump test the limits of his presidency, gambling at how much the public, his party, and the world can accept at home. Mr. Trump tests the limits of how much the public is willing to...
You're testing my limits, Chuck. F Chuck. Don't test my limits. F Chuck, Todd. F Chuck. Something that hit me this week. But they made light of it. Over the years, my writing has met with that reaction. So I'm used to being dismissed. Which is why I'm not spending another few $1,000s in public meetings. This is the way Otherix is happening. Carefully packing week after week away. That once these springs somebody's imagination on BitChute or wherever I put a sample, my best of the best, they'll have something to look back on. And then they'll get a chance to read some of the writing that people have dismissed for ever since this 30 years ago. So where are we at? Let me give you the 7 Santas. 7 Santas. Santa. 7 clauses. Clause is a part of a sentence. So these 7 clauses make up 3 sentences. If nothing comes from nothing, then something's always been. If one means something now, it was everything back then. If these 2 are true, then everything comes from a self-existent thing. Nothing comes from nothing. We start with it. Nothing comes from nothing. With that one statement, you can dismiss. Put the shoe on the other foot about dismissing stuff. You can dismiss the radical atheist scientists. So let's be clear. Nothing comes from nothing. If nothing comes from nothing, if nothing comes from nothing, then, well, who's that? Nothing comes from nothing tells us that you can't start with nothing. Because some people are going to say, well, that thing that you start with has to come from something else, something before it. And you tell them, no, we're starting. We don't even have the privilege of saying we're starting and there was nothing before the start. See what I'm getting at? When we say start with something and there was nothing before it, that means what we're holding in our hand or in our mind, what we're thinking about, is what? That's your wake-up call. That's your wake-up call, buddy. Came to thee this morning. That's a band of Chihuahua puppies. Swing band. That's a pretty valuable thing to have in your hand. Pretty valuable and amazing concept to have in your mind, in your consideration. If nothing comes from nothing, then something has always been. Even before time, something has always been. The church has been telling the world all along. God exists. Like I said, nothing comes from nothing. And those who have a quarrel with that, we start with nothing comes from nothing. Nothing comes from nothing. Something has always been. So it must be quite a something. This will be the structure of the next few weeks. To discuss the 7 Santas. It's Otherix. It's what we preach. Because we're explaining where God came from. And therefore answering the first of the 7 most basic questions. Oh, we answer all 7. Don't doubt that. And the first is, why? as it is sown into the human heart. Why? See you next time.